What's the most romantic thing a guy can do? I'm not going to answer it on a personal level. I'm just going to say, generally speaking, it's always going to be being attentive and thoughtful. Like, I think the most romantic thing my man does for me is, you know what? I'll tell you exactly what it is. So some context. I'm obsessed with Tabasco sauce, like to an unhealthy degree. I have an addiction. I could go to AA meetings for it. Like, it's intense. Everywhere we go, I ask for Tabasco sauce. And since being in New York, nowhere has had Tabasco sauce. So we sit down for breakfast, I ask for Tabasco sauce, the huge, and they don't have it. And I don't know, I was going through withdrawals, it'd been 48 hours, and so I didn't say or do anything. I was just like, oh, okay, like, you know, what are you gonna do? My man gets up, he goes to the restroom, and when he comes back, I overhear him talking to the receptionist, saying, and I swear I heard him say Tabasco. He sits down, and 10 minutes later, the same guy who said that they didn't have any had gone to check in, like, their cellar and got me a little cup of Tabasco. So that, to me, was, like, it's when people say it's the little things, that is what they're talking about. It's the attentiveness, the thoughtfulness, like the what's it called when attention to detail, you know? And it just makes, I'm like, wow, like you really take the time to know me and to go out of your way to do things that just improve my day. So that.
The most romantic thing a guy can do for me is cook. And open the door. I have to have a man that can open a door. Like if my man does not open the car door, I don't care for what, even if we're going to the grocery store, I want my man to open the door. Or if we're going to a restaurant, I want my door open. Whether it's car or if it's like, you know, just a door. I will stand there till Jesus comes until that door is open. Otherwise, I'm not moving. I'm not opening the door.
So
that's the most romantic thing. And also another thing I wanted to say is that, so my little sister, so a little story or whatever. Yes, the door. I want the door.
I like this question. What is the most romantic thing a guy can do for me? Matter of fact, let me think about what is the most romantic thing a guy has done for me. And I can tell you. We were together and he went on a trip to his country where he was from, and I was in the States. He went to go visit family, and they have a family jeweler. So he took like gold jewelry that was like from his family, melted it down, had the jeweler melt it down, and then designed a ring for me with that jewelry. It wasn't a wedding ring, it was more like a promise ring, and it was beautiful. And yeah, then gifted it to me, and I thought that was very romantic because it was so deep, you know. It's like you involved your family history into it, the family jeweler, then you went ahead and designed it yourself. He put a special stone in there and then told me the meaning of the stone. Like, that was next level romance.
Most romantic thing? Make dinner for me. I would say probably the sweetest thing is when I dated a guy for 6 years. He lived in Philly. So we had a somewhat long distance relationship. But we saw each other frequently. But he wanted to see me one day. So he drove 3.5 hours to come and spend a little bit of time with me. And then drove 3.5 hours back. He could only stay for like 2 hours. But that was very sweet. I value time and communication. So you can be romantic, be a horrible communicator, not spend quality time. That means nothing to me.
What's the most romantic thing a guy can do for you? Okay, real shit. Real shit. I just had a friend of mine do something really thoughtful for his girlfriend. But his girlfriend is like super sweet and super thoughtful and loves him. But like when you want for her birthday, he did something, a thoughtful gift for her birthday. But when you want something, it's like you want something. So like, for example, for her birthday, maybe she wouldn't have wanted something thoughtful. She would have wanted a gift, like a shoes or a bag or something. You know what I'm saying? So, what's the most romantic thing a guy can do for you? Is an interesting question, because it's like, now when I heard about that, I just started thinking about it. I was like, sometimes you can be materialistic, because I am, but I'm not. But I am, because I really I'm really into fashion. That's my jewelry. Anyways. Thoughtful is when they can take into account both sides of you. So romantic, not thoughtful. Romantic is when they can take into account both sides. Like the part of you that wants you to be thoughtful, but also the part of you that wants you to not be.
So you know it. What's the most romantic thing a guy can do for you? Be very kind, patient, understanding, loyal. Have a good family, be a good protector, stuff like that.
What's the most romantic thing someone can do for me? As in, like, it hasn't happened yet? I think the most romantic thing anyone could ever do for anybody, and just being mindful of, is listening, right? And respecting people's perspectives and comfortability and vulnerability and boundaries. I think that's very romantic. If I could tell you something one time and you follow through and you keep that going, like, that is so beautiful. It's like, oh my gosh, and I have to tell you 5 times, like, you're violating my personal boundaries. Honestly, when it comes to romance, I think it's really thinking about, I'm one of those people that like to get, like, I'm a sentimental person, like little meanings, right? I'm not, like, and that's the difference between me and my boyfriend, because, like, he'll get mad. He'll be like, you always tell me you want a shower cap. Like, when it comes to asking for gifts, it's like, oh my God, yes, absolutely. My shower cap broke. I use that shit every day. Like, can you please get me another one? Like, I don't care if it only costs $4. Like, I don't need a $400 shower cap. Please get me a $4 one that I will value every single day. You see what I mean?
What's the most romantic thing a guy can do for you? I love romance. I love romance. People think because I'm very, like, hyper independent that I wouldn't like that. I love it. Make me feel like a little girl. I want to be kicking my feet and squealing. To me, it's the little things. Sure, there's big acts of romance, but, like, for instance, the last guy I was dating, our first date was in another country. I love spontaneous. He flew to another country. I flew to another country. We had our first date there. And as he left, we kissed, but it wasn't a good enough kiss for me. It wasn't a goodbye kiss. And when he got in the cab, I texted him, this is me being childish, but I was like, that wasn't a very good goodbye kiss. And no joke, he was halfway to the airport. He turned back around just to give me a proper kiss. That's the stuff I like. You know, he came running in. I was like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I forgot something. I was like, oh shit, what? And he's like, kissing you. And I was like, it's so cheesy, but I love it. That's what I like. I like the small romantic things, but I do like big gestures too. But I'd rather have 100 small things than 2 big things.
The most romantic thing someone can do for you. I'll tell you about the most romantic thing someone has done for me. And that was my first boyfriend. I feel like I haven't had a romance with my first boyfriend, y'all. I don't know what it is about romance, but I really believe it's dead. It's just not there anymore. But he made me an entire binder, like one of those big fat school binders full of, like, love notes. And, like, every page on it had a different love note, or, like, something he loved about me, or just, like, you know, him being alone and, like, writing paragraphs about how he felt. Like, does that make a So if I get banned for that, I'm gonna be so upset, y'all, because you guys know I can't say that word without getting banned. But he was a love bomber. But I love that love. I feel like when someone's a love bomber, it's like, why wouldn't you love me that hard? Like, I can't say love bombing because it's, like, normal. Like, I would love you like that too, you feel me?
What's the romantic thing a guy can do for me? I'll be real honest with you. I don't know how to answer that question. The answer I'm probably going to give you is probably not something you would even expect from me.
But I'd have to think about that. I'll let you know when I've given it some thought. I'm trying, it's the most romantic. I'm curious as to what other people think the answer to that is. I'll hit some balls and I'll come back to you with an answer. Well, the thing is like things that matter to me are probably different than what most people care about. Because I've lived a different life than I feel like a lot of people that I know. I've been through a lot, and so like the things that I value are not exactly what other people value. I would rather somebody like me because I have a good heart and I care a lot about helping other people and Jesus and like my faith, and like not because of my music career and anything like that. So I'm just not really impressed by things that other people are impressed by, because like I had a guy on a professional hockey team try to go out with me, but I just didn't really like him. I mean, he was nice, I was just not impressed with him, whereas the other girls were just kind of throwing themselves over him because he's a hockey player. Does nothing for me. I'm not going to marry the guy because he plays hockey. Like, he's got to, like, I want my goals in life to align with his, and the things that I want to do to make the world a better place need to align with his. And you know what I'm saying? Like, my long, drawn-out answer to that question would probably be, like, I'm not like most girls in Nashville. I'm definitely not a Broadway girl. And that's definitely a thing. That really is a thing.
Wait, somebody said, what's the most romantic thing a guy ever did for you?
Oh, Janaya, I know.
What? Tell me.
Well, you had a couple.
What? Tell me. My mom's about to tell me because I can't remember. That's what I was thinking about too. So I'm gonna name two separate things. One of the most romantic things for my birthday, it was like it was a whole nice setup that was really nice. And one time when I met this guy, he was like, what's your favorite, like, what do you like? Like, what's your favorite candy or whatever? And I was like, I like chocolate. And so then for the first date, like after our first date, for dessert, he took us to this place where you could literally dip everything in chocolate. Like, it was all these fruits and all these different things.
But the
and
reason why it was so special is because he actually remembered.
Yeah, it was really just special because at the time, like, we'll see it now, I don't even really like chocolate like that. But at the time, I told him I like chocolate and he remembered that. And it was very random, even how he asked. And he literally found a place where you could literally dip everything in chocolate. Yes, he was just very attentive. Like, it was just super cute. I'm not gonna lie. We went on a date for like the first 3 weeks of first meeting each other. Like, let me tell y'all, we met, he took me on the first date, and then every single day after that, we went on a date every single day.
Most romantic thing. It's not really anything. I think some guy I dated got me like a bunch of balloons and like decorated the trunk of his car for Valentine's Day. Yeah. But when I mean trunk of the car, it didn't mean like we were hanging out in the trunk of his car. It just meant that like it was like he just decorated the trunk of his car because I wasn't going over to his like place or anything, and it was just decorated. Honestly, loyal is like, honestly at this point, like you would think it's a given, right? You would think that that's a fucking no-brainer, but let me tell you, my stats have proved myself wrong. Okay, this just looks like too much. Like, this is like a lot.
On a tuna then. What's the most romantic thing someone can do for me? I don't think there's like a singular thing. I think anything can be made very romantic. For me, it's all about effort and intention when it comes to being romantic. It's nothing like scripted by any means, but like, yeah, just something with intention and effort. Like my boo, when he asked me to be his girlfriend, he took us to the first place we met, And then he took us to the first place we like went on a date on. And then he took us to the first place we had a kiss. And then he took us to a new place and we hung out on a rooftop and he asked me to be his girl. So like, that's fucking romantic. You know what I'm saying? And I had flowers and I had cards at every location. So yeah, it was really adorable. So yeah, it was intentional and it required effort, and you know, he didn't plant the flowers and grew them for 6 months. Like, I don't need that, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, it was sweet. That's a good question, by the way.